Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to call the meeting of the Richmond City Council for Monday, October 24th, 2022 to order. We have a motion on the minutes. Any discussion on that? All those in favor? Any opposed? That is carried. Madam Clerk, any agenda additions and deletions?
None, Your Worship.
All right, may I have a motion to resolve in the committee of the whole to hear delegations on items that are on the agenda? All those in favor, opposed, carried. Are there any parties here who wish, not exactly a full house, who wish to speak to us on an item on the agenda? All right, may I have a moved and seconded. All those in favor, opposed, carried. We have a very short consent agenda this evening. We have the committee minutes, the 2022 ICIP Adaptation, Resilience, and Disaster Mitigation, the Green Infrastructure Grant application for the number 3 Road South Drainage Pump Station and the dike upgrade. We have the naming of the Stevenson Community Center and Branch Library replacement facility, and finally, contract for the on-call plumbing contractor. May I have a motion to adopt those by general consent? Moved and seconded. Councillor Wolf.
Thank you, Your Worship. I'll be very brief with the brief consent agenda, which I'll be in full support of. I just wanted to highlight from each of them one takeaway from the committee meeting where we discussed these in further depth. Item number 7, the grant application, and if successful, staff will work to continue the flood prevention program that the dikes are involved in, and also that this section would that would be upgraded specifically with this funding. We would work our best to have active transportation path separate from the roadway. The number 8, just removing the branch from the library. That's the deletion of that branch name. I guess that's been carried on for some time. And item number 9, also pleased at task staff and hear that all 3 components of the on-call plumbing contractor item number 9 are living wage employers. And that's all. Thanks.
All right, I'm going to call the question on the consent agenda motion. All those in favor? Any opposed? That is carried. And that gets us right over to public announcements. Now, I do have a few of those. First of all, we want to express as a council our condolences for the families and friends of Constable Shaylin Yang. Last week, the Burnaby RCMP Constable Shaylin Yang lost her life in the line of duty. Constable Yang was a Richmond resident and spent time as a volunteer in the Victim Services Unit at the Richmond RCMP detachment. And through that experience, she became an officer joining the Burnaby detachment in 2019. Constable Yang was described as kind and compassionate and a loving wife, sister, and daughter. So on behalf of council and the city, we offer our sincere condolences to Constable Yang's family. Next, on Monday, October 31st, a week from today, it's Halloween, and the city is hosting over 20 family-friendly Halloween-inspired events and programs between now and Halloween. The major event is on October 31st, when Minaroo Park will again be home to the always popular Halloween Fireworks Festival from 6:30 p.m. This is the first in-person event festival in 2 years and will feature entertainers, food trucks, and trick-and-treating for the kids. It will culminate in a fireworks display at 8:30 p.m. And residents are reminded that fireworks are not permitted anywhere in Richmond, so this is your chance to enjoy a safe and spectacular display. For more details on this and the other celebrations, go to our city website, richmond.ca/Halloween. And then today marks Diwali, an annual day of celebration for Hindus, Sikhs, and Jains around the world. The Festival of Lights is not only a time of feasting and celebration with family and friends, it's also an opportunity for contemplation, prayers, and giving back to the community. So Richmond is proud of our diverse cultural heritage, and we wish everyone celebrating a safe, happy, and healthy Diwali. So the next item on the agenda is headed up retiring councillors. And what we're going to do, just so the public knows, I'm going to be making some remarks. Others on council, if you wish to make remarks after that, just put your hand up on Zoom in the usual way, and then we'll give an opportunity to the retiring councilors to have a word. So tonight, we're saying thanks and congratulations to 2 lifelong Richmond residents and community leaders who are retiring after long service as city councilors. We will miss them immeasurably as city council works to meet the challenges of the future. Councilor Linda McPhail has served on council since 2011. This followed 9 years as a Richmond School Board trustee, with 7 of those 9 years being served as chair. Linda started her community service in association with Seafair Minor Hockey, Richmond Arenas Community Association, and the Richmond Hospital Auxiliary, among many other endeavors. On council, Linda served on all the committees, while she also acted for long periods as the chairs of planning, as well as the community safety committees. Regionally, Linda was also active with committee work on Metro Vancouver and with UBCM. Among her many traits, Linda will always be remembered for her constant, steadfast, focused leadership, particularly in the face of civic controversy. Linda always had a keen sense of the wishes of the people in Richmond and used that understanding to guide decisions on what would be best for the community. Councillor Harold Steeves has also decided to retire from his role on Richmond City Council, which started after being elected as alderman in 1968. Taking a pause only for a brief stint as MLA with the Dave Barrett government in the 1970s, Harold has served on council for over 50 years. Thus, he is one of the longest-serving public servants in Richmond and in the province. Harold also always chaired city committees and worked with community groups. Harold's career has had many facets: a high school teacher, a farmer, and a rancher. He has been known regionally and throughout the province for his agricultural and environmental work. The Agricultural Land Reserve is an important component of his legacy. However, his other interests have been very wide, from athletics to maritime matters, history, and heritage. Harold has even developed new types of tomatoes at his residence. During their times on council, both councillors McPhail and Steeves have been real community leaders. We will certainly miss their dedication to public service locally and farther afield. As both will remain active in Richmond, we look forward to interacting with them in the future, as each will only be a telephone call away. So with those remarks, I'll ask if there are any councillors who wish to have a word. Councillor McNulty.
Yeah, well, thank you, Your Worship. Well, today's a joyous day for them to retire. A sad day for the community in a way. First of all, I'd like to just say to both of them that it's been a privilege to work with you and serve with you over the years that you've been involved. You've graced the city with dignity. In my opinion, you are pillars in the community as community members, and are 2 of the most respected councillors that I've had the opportunity to work with. And I thank you for what you've done. You've always had, as the worship said, in your leadership, you've had the public in mind first when you made the decisions, and always they seem to have come out in the positive as builders of the community, and I do call you builders because your decisions benefited those and those decisions many, many people, and you do leave a legacy behind. The Mayor, worship, Linda, 19 years. God, seems like forever. I remember when you started way back when, and I remember you started as council, and you know, in as chair, you topped the polls and you did everything, and that wasn't why you did it, but you ably led. Harold, I had to do something on you. 52 years, and what the hell did you do for the other 33 years? Anyhow, Harold started in 1968. Do you realize you have gone through 21 elections? Unbelievable. He's topped the poll 7 times. just as a stat, and I thought I'd go back, and I guess it was 1973 to 76, you retired to be also lead us with the provincial government, and we thank you for that. And I'm hoping with both of you, there's more to come when you come in. I know you're not just going to walk off into the sunset. Your contributions, and you'll still contribute to the community. So thank you, and Godspeed.
Thank you. Councillor Wolf.
Thank you, Your Worship. I'll start with Councillor McPhail. My dear gratitude to all of my time being involved in Richmond politics. You've been either the chair of the trustees or here on council, and you've, I think the word that comes to mind with all that I've seen you do is how articulate you are, and you don't waste time. You're very to the point and accurate, well researched, a great role model to have followed. I'm thankful for many things that you've done to provide opportunities for myself and others. I know I played hockey. I started out with Seafair, and I'm sure you were very instrumental back then as well. I know your son is a whole lot better of a hockey player than I am, but I try my best, and I hope to have gained your support in some of the actions I've taken, and I'll continue to work to do more good in your name and with your legacy that you've provided us. And for Councillor Steeves, I am wearing my cowboy boots today. I won't lift them up for the camera, and I'll try and do more of that. You've definitely provided an inspiration for me to keep at it when many people would have said, oh, give up, you don't have a chance. But like Councillor McNulty mentioned, you've topped the polls with your style, your charisma, your experience that you bring forward to city politics. And I couldn't have asked for a better mentor over all these years as I've come sitting at the other seats in this council chamber, and yeah, definitely some frustration when I'd ride my bike home and be like, I'm never going back there again. But then I recall that, hey, actually, you know what? Councillor Steeves was listening to me, or he did ask a question, or there was some response, and it brought me back again and again and again. Yeah, I know there's much more we could have had together over this one overlap of term that we're just concluding tonight, but the pandemic kind of got in the way of that. But we'll beat it, and we'll get together, and we'll continue to learn from each other and to provide inspiration. So thanks for all you've done for Richmond. Thanks for all you've done for the province and ALR, and what leads to food security. And how many times I've heard your students come back and acknowledge who you are, and I just hope decades down the road I can do that, because it's such a satisfying work to work with youth, but also to work with both of you who are leaving us in great hands. So thanks for leaving this much better than you found it. Thanks.
Thank you. Councillor Hobbs.
Well, thank you, and through the chair. Well, first, I'd like to acknowledge Councillor Steeves and all your dedication and commitment and service to Richmond. My wife's experience with you actually goes back even further, and so do some in-laws through the farming community, but she reminded me tonight that you were her grade 7 science and music teacher. And, you know, you made a big impression on her, even going back that far. But my first exposure to you was as actually MLA. And as I've mentioned and we've talked about, that was my first political volunteer job, was actually putting signs up for Harold Steeves and pounding those wooden stakes in with the cardboard sign that folded over the top. All biodegradable, I might add, even back then. So there's been many overlapping interests that we've shared. The ALR is one, Heritage of Richmond and Steveston is another, the environment is another. And I think that the contributions you've made have been tremendous in so many aspects of Richmond life and making Richmond what it is today and what it will continue to move forward as. But a couple of the things I'd like to mention about you too are your sense of humor and your wit. If people have been exposed to that, both can be sharp. So I think it's great that you have people that are able to take a stand on issues, voice their opinions, even have a differing opinion than somebody else, but still able to move forward maintain dialogue and relationships and move forward in a constructive way. And I think sometimes in politics, we can see throughout the world, not just Richmond, I mean, that if you lose that, you lose a lot. And so I think that's one of the best things that I've witnessed about how you conduct yourself. And it's been an honor to serve with you for about 1/3 of your time on council. And I know we'll continue to work together through the community and different interests. So I'd just like to thank you for your service to Richmond and acknowledge that. Now, Linda McPhail, I've also known a long time. And again, my wife has known Linda longer than me through Kigus Swim Club and other things in Richmond. But a highlight for me on council to date, as well as on school board for 2 terms, because we served together for 2 terms on school board from 02 to 08. But that has been the chance to watch Linda at work. And it's been mentioned here already, but to watch how she listens and how she learns and how she takes information in and how she motivates other people. And I think being able to observe that has really helped me learn how to do this role and to actually just be an all-around better person. Linda is motivated by many things, but I think it's primarily by the desire to serve other people, the desire to improve Richmond as a whole, focusing on many different issues and being able to multitask, whether it's housing or childcare or community safety, food security, the ALR. Your dedication and your thoroughness in the work you do is noticed by everybody. Your objectivity, your fairness, your integrity are all lessons that have been valuable lessons to be learned by all those who have been able to watch you in action. I know it's very important to you, the community, your family, and I think that the hard work that you put forward all combine to just reflect a real solid leadership in the community. And I think that it's instructive, I think it's helpful to others, and I'm sure that you will continue to provide that kind of leadership and input into the community, just as you have done on council, and I look forward to receiving your advice as we move forward after tonight. So I just want to say thank you again for your service. I've really admired it and appreciated it, as well as your friendship. So thank you.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Day.
Thank you very much, Mayor Brody. Well, I think retirement for both Councillors McPhail and Steeves will be the land of opportunity with new beginnings and new experiences, because I don't think they're going to be sitting back in a rocking chair. They've been active in the community for so many decades already. Trustee McPhail was a great leader when I was a newbie trustee on the school board, and she always was able to give advice on what was next, especially when we were dealing with the ministry. On council, she was always well prepared, and that led to really active debate, and I think that benefited the community as a whole. So I thank you very much for your years of service. Councillor Harold Steeves, we have a long history together, starting off on the Garden City lands and working on everything from jet fuel, and he's been the history teacher for council for all the years, and he has an incredible memory. And I can't remember my grocery list, but he remembers something on the day it happened from 25, 30 years ago. He's had a lifelong impact on this council, on me, and absolutely on the community. You've given so much, and I thank you along with the rest of the people of Richmond. Thanks so much for your leadership.
You, Councillor Out.
Your Worship, today I'm both proud and sad at this moment. Proud because, I feel privileged and honored to have the opportunity to work with Linda and Harold as colleagues. Sad because this is the last time they attend a council meeting. As for Harold, he's my role model, a person that I always look up to. I want to follow his steps, and also a person that I always consult with. He impressed me as a person being very persistent, compassionate, and principled, and getting into actions. I would say he's not stubborn, but persistent. So he keep on, trying to achieve what he wants to achieve. And something that amused me at times was that he can pick up a report 25 years ago, and even staff did not have the history or the knowledge of the report. And when staff get a reaction to the report that Harold gave, I was amused to look at sometimes the response of the staff. And I think Harold leave a strong legacy, not only on council, but I think in the whole city. And I remember in 2026, when we attend the 3rd World Urban Forum in Vancouver, there was a time we had a chance to talk to the UN delegates, and also had a chance to arrange a meeting with the president of Kwantlen Polytechnic University at the time, and then we talked about the Garden City land. And from then onwards, we developed a plan to have farm institute, a farm school, that kind of thing. So I think Harold would be having a very strong legacy in the city, even after leaving council. And as for Linda, he's one of my most respected colleagues from the days on the school board. I enjoy working with her, and I also enjoy when she was the chair. She was a very fair-minded person, very hardworking, and I really appreciate that when she presented a perspective, it was well researched. She always backed up her perspective with knowledge and information. She's objective, and I agree with Councillor Hobbs that she has a very high level of integrity. So I also get impressed by Linda for being a very caring person, very, very caring. And on council, I believe that she has been a good leader in the few committees that she chairs. And although she may be seen as, because of the profession of her husband, she may be seen as sometimes might have some sort of conflict. However, I have to say that she has always been fair, and I would say that she's never allowed anything to influence her judgment and her objectivity. So for that, I think I would give her my fullest respect. So as I said, I'm sad to see them leaving council, but I know that they are still around. They will still be contributing to the good and the benefits of the city. So thank you.
Councillor Liu.
Yeah, thank you, Worship. And not to sound like an echo chamber here too much, but Linda, Councillor McPhail, you've always had community first. I've always appreciated how you were always prepared and well-researched every time you came to the table, to any table, whether we were at UBCM or LMLGA or LGLA or any of those places. You did your homework, you studied, you tried to learn, you took every opportunity to learn and to find out more. I appreciated how you were always working to further engage the community as much as you could, to make sure that there was always a communication strategy with anything that we were doing in the city. Basically, if we are not telling people what we're doing, it's the same as not doing it. And you were always making sure that there was a communication plan. How are we getting this out to people? How will they know? You always came with that fiscal responsibility, making sure that we're sticking to the budgets, that we're paying attention. Where's the money coming from? Where's the money going? And you always had the idea of what will best serve the community. And I feel that's how you always made your decisions. And so I really appreciate your fair approach to everything and the grace and integrity you brought to the position. It's been an honor to serve with you. And Harold, Councillor Steeves, I've really appreciated your vision for how to have a green and sustainable city through good policy, through density, how you've informed us about policy decisions, governance, and that sort of thing. Your fierce adherence to protecting industrial and agricultural land, and how you're not afraid to hold Metro Vancouver accountable to those same ideals, and how you share your stories with what's happened in the past, how things go. And you and Councillor McPhail together I think have been a huge showcase of the importance of corporate memory, of the importance of having people stay on council for a long time and remember, yes, this is something we've already looked at, this is something we already tried, or this is something we're continuing to work towards, and this is how these other strategies have worked in on that. So it's been an honor to serve with both of you, and I wish you all the best, and I hope to continue to still talk and hear from you.
All right, thank you very much. Now I'm going to turn it over to the two councillors in question and ask, first of all, Councillor McPhail, if you'd like to make a few remarks.
Thank you, Your Worship. Well, where to start? My last council meeting, completing a job I have loved and where serving people became my passion. It has been a privilege to serve our community as a member of the City of Richmond Council for 3 terms over 11 years. Thank you to the citizens of Richmond for putting your trust in me. Richmond has been my home for over 6 decades. It is where I grew up, where I raised my family, and where my 2 grandchildren now live. Our city has changed a lot over my life, from the sleepy farming and fishing bedroom community of Vancouver to a dynamic and culturally diverse city that is home to award-winning beautiful parks and walking trails, excellent facilities, and world-renowned dining. Over my time on council and school board, I have met people from all over the world who have moved here and now call Richmond home. My dad loved Richmond because the dikes and farms reminded him of his native home, Holland. Whether people came for the chance of a better life, the schools, access to nature, move from Vancouver, or if you've lived here your whole life, one thing is clear to me. Richmond is a wonderful place to live, work, and play for so many. While our work in the political realm can at times be challenging, I truly believe that council and city staff make a positive difference in the daily lives of our citizens. With responsibility for essential services such as water, sewer, dikes, parks, and roads, council is the level of government that is closest to the people. We have highly capable and competent staff here at the city that work daily to enact the plans, strategies, and priorities set by council. It is the daily work of our staff that brings all these services to life, and together the work we do enriches the lives of all who call Richmond home. Truly, at the heart of what we do, I believe we are a people business. To council members past and present, it has been an honor to serve alongside you. I always made decisions based on what I thought was the best for the entire community and tried to work collaboratively, respectfully, and with integrity. Councillor Steeves, your 50-year service on council is an amazing accomplishment, and I believe that you leave a lasting legacy. Your passion, perseverance, and foresight on issues like the ALR, climate change, and heritage, to name a few, have benefited the City of Richmond immensely. Initiatives like geothermal energy, solar energy, green roofs, district energy, and rooftop gardens were championed by you early on and before they were in the mainstream. Now they are embedded in our policies and work plans, and the City of Richmond is well positioned for the future and is known as a leader in the region and indeed in Canada and North America. Councillor Steeves, I learned a lot from you. While we didn't agree on everything, I think we agreed, though, on more things than not. It has been a real privilege to work with you. In closing, I also want to express my deep and sincere thanks to everyone who has supported me during my time in office. I cannot express in words how thoroughly honored and appreciative I am of that support. And to my family, who has been in it with me from day one, through thick and thin, you are the reason why. I wish the community and council all the best. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now, Councillor Steeves.
Yeah, well, thank you very much. Andy, you can tell your wife she made a good choice. It's tough. You people are part of my family, every one of you. And it's been a pleasure working with you. This is one of the best councils that I've worked with in the 50 years. And Jack, you mentioned the way I did things. I call it friendly persuasion. But Jack and the mayor never take credit for what we did in terms of getting the farm school. We had a meeting one night, 15 years ago? with Skip Triplett and Jean-Ming Jean. Oh, it was 2006 at the Habitat. And it was a suggestion, Jean-Ming Jean from a group associated with the United Nations, that they needed someplace to have a farm school in the city. And we agreed to do it that night, and we've done it. We haven't got any awards for it yet that's in this award book, but we will get it. And this year was the year we put the report all together. And it's there in the future, folks. It's going to be incredible. In terms of some of the other comments, I just want to mention Alexa. I shouldn't say I'm going. My wife is going through my files, and she's gathering stuff up that may be missing from that corporate memory. So I'm going to bequeath it, maybe to you. Michael's going to get my environmental stuff going back to the nature park. So we're having a bit of fun. I mean, I've got a whole wall of files, and I'm figuring out where they should go. So you'll all be getting gifts from me. And Linda, it's been a pleasure working with you. You've been a calming influence on the committee all the time, on the board, on the council. And Carol, it's been a pleasure to run with you and be part of the team. Did I miss anybody? I think, oh, Bill. Oh my goodness, how could I forget Bill? Actually, I'm not going to forget Bill because we're going to be working in Heritage together from here on in. So I'll be bugging you from in the future because Bill is actually Richmond's main heritage author. I wrote one book, but he's written half a dozen. And so I'm looking forward to working with Bill. I do want to comment in parting, however, this year's achievement highlights, and they're nothing but amazing. We had 30 awards this year. About 8 of them were for the Little Island Energy Company, for the renewable energy project that is making a significant impact on climate change, not just here, but worldwide. Just last month, Metro Vancouver adopted our policy after we've been doing it for 10 years. Government Finance Association awards for outstanding achievement in financial reporting. UBCM Excellence in Governance. Environmental Management Technological Innovation Award. Public Works Award. Again, Community Energy Association Award for Climate Leadership in Local Government. Home Builders Award for the Stories Affordable Housing Complex. Another award for the National Historic Site flood protection at Britannia Shipyard. And one amazing one that really is pertinent to everything we've watched on television over the last week, the lack of ambulances. We got an award for being the first fire hall and ambulance station in Canada, or pardon me, in British Columbia to work together. And I think that's going to be the future. So I'm leaving this council in very good hands. I'm cheerful to leave you all, but I think it's been a wonderful experience, and I wish you all good luck because you've made, I think, this city the best in Canada. And it was all done, we all did it together. And I think that's what we need to think about for this council and the future. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much, Councillor McPhail. Councillor Steves, I'll just sum up the sentiments that have been expressed here this evening, that it's been an honor for all of us, each one of us, to serve with you for a very good number of years. And you've just been such a credit to our community and can take great credit for the successes that we have enjoyed. So congratulations and thank you to both of you. And remember what I said, you're a telephone call away, so don't think you're past that. So with that, we'll go to bylaws for adoption. We have a motion? Discussion on it? All those in favor, opposed, carried, and adjournment. We are now adjourned.